Lesson 7, Using Oracle Text for Text Searches. As the amount of text in your database increases, so does the complexity of the text queries performed against the database. Instead of just performing string matches, you will need new text search features, such as weighting the terms in a search of multiple terms, or ranking the results of a text search. You can use Oracle Text to perform text-based searches. Text searching capabilities include wildcard searching, fuzzy matches, relevance ranking, proximity searching, term weighting, and word expansions. In this chapter, you'll see how to configure and use Oracle Text. Part 1. Adding text to the database. To store the reviews in the database, create the book review tables. In this lesson, you will see examples of two types of indexes, context and ctxsys. To support these examples, two separate tables will be created, book review context and book review ctxsys, both loaded with the same data. The review text column of the book review tables is defined as having a varchar 4000 data type. For longer values, consider the use of glob data types. You can select the review text from the database. Part 2. Text queries and text indexes. Querying text is different from querying data because words have shades of meaning, relationships to other words, and opposites. You may want to search for words that are near each other, or words that are related to others. These queries would be extremely difficult if all you had available were the standard relational operators. By extending SQL to include text indexes, Oracle Text permits you to ask very complex questions about the text. To use Oracle text, you need to create a text index on the column in which the text is stored. Text index is a slightly confusing term. It is actually a collection of tables and indexes that store information about the text stored in the column. You can create a text index via a special version of the create index command. For a context index, specify the ctxsys.context index type in the INDEXTYPE clause. Before creating a text index on a table, you must create a primary key for the table if one does not already exist. When the text index is created, Oracle creates a number of indexes and tables in your schema to support your text queries. You can rebuild your text index via the alter index command, just as you would for any other index. You can use a ctxcat index type in place of the context index type. The ctxcat index type supports the transactional synchronization of data between the base table, book review ctxcat, and its text index. With context indexes, you need to manually tell Oracle to update the values in the text index after data changes in the base table. ctxcat index types do not generate score values during text queries, as context indexes do, but the query syntax is largely the same for the two types. Part 3, Text Queries. Once a text index is created on the review text column of the book review context table, text searching capabilities increase dramatically. You can now look for any book review that contains the word property. The contains function takes two parameters, the column name and the search string, and checks the text index for the review text column. If the word property is found in the review text column's text index, then a score greater than 0 is returned by the database, and the matching title value is returned. The score is an evaluation of how well the record being returned matches the criteria specified in the contains function. If you create a ctxcat index, use the CATSEARCH function in place of contains. CATSEARCH takes three parameters: the column name, the search string, and the name of the index set. For this example, there is no index set, so the parameter is set to null. CATSEARCH does not compute a score but uses the greater than 0 syntax, simplifying your migration from context indexes to ctxcat indexes. ctxcat indexes support the use of index sets. When a function such as contains or CATSEARCH is used in a query, the text portion of the query is processed by Oracle Text. The remainder of the query is processed just like a regular query within a database. The results of the text query processing and the regular query processing are merged to return a single set of records to the user. Part 4, Searching for an exact match of a word. The following query of the book review tables returns the title for all reviews including the word property. Within the function calls, the greater than sign is called a threshold operator. The preceding text search can be translated to the following: Select all the title column values from the book review context table where the score for the text search of the review text column for an exact match of the word property exceeds a threshold value of 0. To show the text search score, use the score function, which has a single parameter, a label you assign to the score within the text search. Part 5. Searching for an exact match of multiple words. If you wanted to search for reviews that have the words property and harvests in the review text, you could enter the following query. This search does not look for the phrase property and harvests but rather for two individual words anywhere in the searched text. You will see the syntax for phrase searches in the next section. Instead of using an in the context index query, you could have used an ampersand, and. Before using this method in SQL+, you should set define off so the and character will not be seen as part of a variable name. If you want to search for more than two terms, just add them to the contains or CATSEARCH clause. For the ctx cat index, the word and can be left out entirely. In addition to AND, you can use the OR operator, in which case a record is returned if either of the search conditions meets the defined threshold. The symbol for OR in Oracle text is a vertical line. When these queries are executed, a record is returned if either of the two separate searches, for property and harvests, returns a score greater than 0. The accumulate operator provides another method for combining searches. A command adds together the scores of the individual searches and compares the accumulated score to the threshold value. The symbol for a com is a comma. The ACOM syntax is supported in CATSEARCH function calls but should not be used because CATSEARCH does not calculate a score to compare to the threshold value. You can also use Oracle text to subtract the scores from multiple searches before comparing the result to the threshold score. The minus operator in contains subtracts the score of the second term's search from the score of the first term's search. The queries in the following listing will determine the search score for property and subtract from it the search score for house and then compare the difference to the threshold score. In this example, the second search term, house, is not found in the indexed text. If the second term is in the text, for example, harvests, then no rows will be returned. For context indexes, their operator reduces the score when comparing the overall search score to the threshold value, but it does not eliminate the row from consideration. To eliminate rows based on search terms in context indexes, use the character as the not operator. For ctxcat indexes, the symbol has a different meaning than it does with context indexes. For ctxcat indexes, dash tells Oracle text not to return the row if the search term after the is found, like in context indexes. If the second term is found, CATSEARCH will not return the row. For CATSEARCH queries, you can replace with the word not. You can use parentheses to clarify the logic within your search criteria. If your search uses both ands and ors, you should use parentheses to clarify the way in which the rows are processed. For example, the following query returns a row if the search text contains either the word house or both the words workers and harvests. CATSEARCH does not require the word and between workers and harvests. If you change the location of the parentheses, you change the logic of the text search. The following query returns a row if the search text contains either house or workers and also contains the word harvests. When evaluating the scores of multiple searches against context indexes, you can tell Oracle text to weigh the scores of some searches more heavily than others. For example, if you want the search score for harvests to be doubled when compared to the threshold score, you can use the asterisk symbol to indicate the factor by which the search score should be multiplied. The following query will double the search score for harvests when it is evaluated in an OR condition. Part 6. Searching for an exact match of a phrase. When searching for an exact match for a phrase, you specify the whole phrase as part of the search string. If your phrase includes a reserved word, such as and, or minus, you need to use the escape characters shown in this section so that the search is executed properly. If the search phrase includes a reserved word within Oracle text, then you must use curly braces to enclose the text. The following query searches for any title whose review entry includes the phrase "Doctor visits." The following query searches for the phrase "transactions and finances." The word "and" is enclosed in braces. The query of transactions and finances is different from a query of transactions and finances. The query of transactions and finances returns a record only if the phrase "transactions and finances" exists in the searched text. The query of transactions and finances returns a record if the search score for the word transactions and the search score for the word finances are both above the threshold score, or in a ctxsys index, if both are found. You can enclose the entire phrase within curly braces, in which case any reserved words within the phrase will be treated as part of the search criteria. Part 7, searches for words that are near each other. You can use the proximity search capability to perform a text search based on how close terms are to each other within the searched document. A proximity search returns a high score for words that are next to each other, and it returns a low score for words that are far apart. If their words are next to each other, the proximity search returns a score of 100. To use proximity searching against context indexes, use the keyword near. You can replace the near operator with its equivalent symbol, the semicolon. Part 8, using wildcards during searches. Just as in regular text string wildcard processing, two wildcards are available, %, multiple character wildcard __, single character wildcard. The following query will search for all text matches for all words that start with the characters worker. The following query limits the expansion of the text string to exactly 3 characters. In place of the % in the preceding query, 3 underscores, ____ are used. Because the underscore is a single character wildcard, the text string cannot expand beyond 3 characters during the search. For example, the word workers could be returned by the text search, but the word workplace would be too long to be returned. Part 9. Searching for words that share the same stem and searching for fuzzy matches. Rather than using wildcards, you can use stem expansion capabilities to expand the list of text strings. Given the stem of a word, Oracle will expand the list of words to search for to include all words having the same stem. When this query is executed, Oracle expands the word $manage to include all words with the same stem and then performs the search. If a review contains one of the words with a stem of manage, the record will be returned to the user. A fuzzy match expands the specified search term to include words that are spelled similarly but that do not necessarily have the same word stem. Fuzzy matches are most helpful when the text contains misspellings. The misspellings can be either in the searched text or in the search string specified by the user during the query. To use a fuzzy match, precede the search term with a question mark, with no space between the question mark and the beginning of the search term. Part 10. Searches for words that sound like other words. Stem expansion searches expand a search term to multiple terms based on the stem of the word. Fuzzy matches expand a search term based on similar words in the text index. A third kind of search term expansion, SoundX, expands search terms based on how the word sounds. The SoundX expansion method uses the same text matching logic available via the SoundX function in SQL. To use the SoundX option, you must precede the search term with an exclamation mark. Part 11. Using the about operator. In Oracle Text, you can search on themes of documents. Thematic searching is integrated with text term searching. You can use the about operator to search for terms that have to do with the theme of the document rather than the specific terms within the document. Part 12. Index synchronization. By default, when using context indexes, you will have to manage the text index contents. The text indexes will not be updated when the base table is updated. As soon as a review text value is updated, its text index is out of sync with the base table. To sync the index, execute the sync index procedure of the ctxsys package. Context indexes can be maintained automatically, at commit time, or at specified intervals. As part of the create index command for a context index, you can use the sync clause. Do you want to learn new skills in the fastest and most effective way? Visit learnwithvideotutorials.com.